we have Path of Shaman. So this is the story of our main protagonist who is on his deathbed, and the Grim Reaper came to take him away, and he started calling his name. It is said that if the Grim Reaper calls your names 3 times, you will be taken to the underworld. Haekyeon Mugang, Haekyeon Mugang, Haekyeon Mu. So by the time he was going to complete the 3rd time calling his name, the main character swallows the herb of immortality and suddenly wakes up in the body of a pitiful errand boy. What? Where am I? I am the strongest of the strong, the head of the Sa clan, Haekyeon Mugang. Why am I now a part of this pitiful clan of shamans? I just can't understand anything. This is what the main character thought. But after a few days, the main character realizes something and now thinks that he is born in the body of this pitiful boy. But now the main character vows to make these shamans the strongest and take over the world. The main character is very funny and ruthless, but this manhwa is a very fun manhwa. I was just laughing while reading this manhwa. It is very interesting, so make sure to give it a read. On number 9, we have another masterpiece known as Long Live the King. Now it has 126 chapters. This is not a reincarnation type manhwa, but this is an isekai type manhwa, and the main character is very ruthless and cruel. So you will just love this manhwa. So what is the story? Well, an ordinary student accidentally travels into other universe and becomes the king of a small kingdom. He has gotten a cheating code of life, also known as the system of life, and was able to complete something extraordinary. This is the story about a king that was able to conquer continents and leave behind him an ultimate legend that will be recited between every generation to come. Now these kinds of masterpieces are once in a lifetime masterpieces. I don't know why the manhwa ended after 126 chapters, but the light novel has a lot of chapters. So if you think that you are loving this series and after 126 chapters you want more just like me, then you can go and read the light novel. The main character is super powerful. At first, after reading 5 to 10 chapters, I was very confused. I didn't know what was going on, but after I read 10 to 15 chapters, I was so hooked to this book that I just binge read it. Now for all the solo leveling fans, let me tell you, the main character has a system that will help him become overpowered. On number 8, we have The Hunter. Now this is one of those manhwas which has a lot of chapters, so currently it has more than 200 chapters, so you can take your time and read it. Now the story is something like this. Chen Beiming was once a young and talented hunter of the Heavenly Alliance until he got betrayed and murdered by the 5 lords. He gets resurrected into the past while having his memory intact and swears that he will get revenge on those who betrayed him. With the help of his battle spirit, he once again ascends and becomes the strongest again. Now the main character is pretty ruthless and is very overpowered. On number 7, we have The Rebirth of the Demon God. The demon leader Di Shi Tian was betrayed by his most trusted friend and perished under the combined attack of the 5 sects. When the world thought they had vanquished the demons, Shi Tian is reborn as a student Mo Fan. With his powers and abilities and under the attack of the 5 sects, Di Shi Tian starts his journey of revenge. Now the main character is weak at first, but then he becomes overpowered because after all, he was the demon leader. On number 6, we have Dawn's Adventure in Another World. This is popularly known as Tang Yin Zai Yi Ji. Well, this is the name of the manhwa. So the story is as follows. The main character is a professional killer and suddenly he travels to a mysterious world, which means this is an isekai manhwa, and there he has to survive. With his professional killing abilities, he becomes one of the most overpowered person in the new world. The main character is cruel and he kills anyone who gets in his way. So this manhwa is a pretty good manhwa, as well as this has more than 300 chapters, so it might take a while for you to read it. On number 5 we have another masterpiece known as Karate Survivor in Another World. So the name already told you the synopsis of the story, that the main character is a martial artist and he travels to the different world. So now he can rely on magic or cheats, but he does not have any. He only has his wits and his fists. This is an awesome manga and I will definitely recommend you. This is a new one and the story is also unique, and this is a special note from my side because you are going to see a lot of blood in this because there is a lot of violence as it contains monsters. So make sure to give it a read. It is definitely a great one. On number 4 we have Volcanic Age. Let me tell you, I never read a manhwa more than one time, but there are two manhwas in this list that are exceptions. The one is Magic Emperor, which is the first one, and the second is Volcanic Age. I have literally read them 3 times, but still I'm not bored. Now the story is something like this. Ju Seo Cheon, a man who survives the age of war through sheer luck and becomes Washan faction elder only to live a life full of regrets and doubts. He then lies on his deathbed waiting for the inevitable when he is returned to the past. And then he is astonished. But then he takes a vow that he will become overpowered and change the world of Murim. But after a few years, you will see that not only is the main character a powerhouse, but he just shakes the world of Murim. His enemies fear him and call him the monster from Mount Hua. Literally, this is the best ever martial arts reincarnation manhwa. Man, I just loved it. On number 3, we have The Invincible Immortal. This is also known as Immortal Invincible. I guess a lot of you have read The Scholar's Reincarnation. Well, this is pretty similar to that one. So the story is something like this. From a thieving child to one who would shake the world, rising to the title of Immortal Masters, one of the godly 12 stars, but ultimately betrayed. Now he has been given a chance to change that and create a better future for both him and the world. You will see the main character born as a small baby and he grows up to become a strong, powerful main protagonist. So this has more than 100 chapters and you are definitely going to enjoy it. So make sure to give it a read. On number 2, we have Reincarnated War God. Now this is a new manhwa. Now why am I actually telling that this is a new manhwa? Because this was earlier picked by some translation, but then it was dropped. And now it has been picked up by some other translations and they are uploading it regularly. So till now we have 9 chapters and they are very interesting. So the story is a desperate 40-year war that has extinguished both hope and happiness. Jinwon, a man who was the god of battle, returned after 2 lives to overturn the battle of the defeated war. So when you will read the story, you will see that the main god of war, who is the main protagonist, travels his soul into the body of a loser second son. He returns to the time before the war 10 years ago. You are just going to love to see the main protagonist become stronger, and the main protagonist doesn't care about anyone and he does what he feels is right. On number 1, we have Magic Emperor. This is probably one of the best ever action fantasy reincarnation manhwas. Zhou Yifan was a magic emperor, or could be called a demon emperor, because he had an ancient emperor's book called the Book of 9 Secrets. He was targeted by all the experts and he was even betrayed and killed by his own student. Then his soul enters and comes back to life in a family servant boy named Zhou Fan. And from there on, the journey of our main character begins, who becomes overpowered and he pledges to take revenge on those who betrayed him. So Magic Emperor has a main character who is cruel, ruthless as well as patient. He is literally the definition of badass. I am so happy because you guys have been so helpful, and also you guys supported me in the previous video and told me